Hey guys, it's Bear in a Backpack, bringing you another episode of No Games Here. Today I'm joined by, once again, Kevin and Tom.
Hi-yo!
Hello.
Good job, guys. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about just kind of games in general, things that have come up in the last couple weeks here that we just want to chat about for a little bit. So, who wants to start with the topic?
Pokemon Go is still carrying on.
Is it still going? I haven't seen too much on that. I mean, I've seen a couple leaked footage videos of Pikachu next to a street for no apparent reason.
Yeah. I just really hope it's not going to be like that one Pokemon Google Maps thing.
Oh yeah,
that bullshit that we all bought into. Oh my gosh.
Okay, can you just imagine what this is going to be like? It's just going to be like people going to Notre Dame in Paris and be like, "Oh crap, there's an Alakazam right over there. I gotta catch him." And they're gonna be some weird dude on their phone trying to catch a Pokemon.
No, what I'm imagining is they're like, "We are gathered here today to join Mary and Timothy in the holy matrimony." Doors go flying open. Yeah. I got you now, you bitch! God damn it, get back here, Charizard! And everyone's like, he's like, sorry, getting a thing, sorry.
I used all my Ultra Balls.
Everyone's tapping their phone come on, yeah, critical.
The priest just stops. Sorry, if we can just hold the ceremony for a moment. There's a Mewtwo in the belfry. My bad. I will be right back. Sorry about this.
Bell Tower is calling.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Pokemon Go. I think it's a kind of a unique concept to kind of get you. It's kind of like it gets you to travel and want to do that kind of stuff and have a little mini game to go with it. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like sometimes it's just going to be one of those kind of gimmicky things that just never really works out.
Well, regardless of if it's good or not, I've already been voted in my college as the youngster Joey of the hall.
So basically, the most loser Pokemon trainer ever.
Well, I'm gonna do myself a justice and get 6 Rattatas, and then use those.
I think if you had 6 Rattata at level 100, it still couldn't beat a level 100 of the rest of the Pokemon.
I never knew about Fear Tactic until this year. I'm planning on doing that.
You see, the thing I'm worried about though with Pokemon Go is I want to see the statistics about 3 months after the game releases on how many traffic-related deaths there are because idiot's trying to capture something and just goes running across the street and just gets plowed down by somebody.
Or some people that are just on the side of the interstate who just get out of their car to run in the someone's cornfield to randomly try to catch the Raticate that's over in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just I like the idea of altered reality games. I think it's really cool, but. It's like a lot of things where you just got to be careful. I mean, it's just your own safety. You have to be very conscious of it when you're playing it.
Yeah.
The sad part is, by and large, most people do bad things.
Yeah.
People are not exactly the brightest at times, and they will find a way to do the stupidest thing and get themselves killed somehow. So
yeah,
hopefully it's not a problem, but I could see it being one.
Yeah. I guess I'll just stay in my hall with my Rattatas. and that'll be
get your butt kicked by every Pokemon trainer
Not
ever.
Fear Tactic. I mean, if they have Focus Band, right?
You mean any Pokemon ever?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's a pretty good consensus that Rattata is one of the worst Pokemons.
I've got a Raticate that's level 56 in my first edition, and it's kicking ass. It's awesome.
What he doesn't tell you is it took him 3 years to get that Rattata to that level.
Took me all of 3 months.
Only 3 months.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh well. Speaking of AR games, obviously everyone knows that we've got the HTC Vive and the Steam
Oculus.
The Oculus. My bad. The Steam is the HTC, and vice versa. True. But yeah, the HTC Vive and the Oculus coming out. So. I know, for me personally, I'm a big fan of the Vive. I used to be in Team Oculus, but after seeing the Vive come out and seeing what it's capable of, and the fact that it's objectively a better system, it's got better quality technology, and it's better. I'm definitely more of a Vive person, but Tom here is not exactly fully on board with it.
Well, didn't Zuckerberg buy?
Facebook bought it. Yeah.
Facebook bought it. Why?
I think that it's because I think part of it was that they saw it as an emerging technology and they're kind of one of those young techie kind of companies and they'd like to be on the forefront of that kind of industry.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, it just seems like another venture because Facebook, yes, it's huge right now, but that's not a fully sustainable business model.
Yeah, I was going to say Facebook, I don't know.
But
I don't go on it very much.
But regardless of software issues, on the VR side. I think that for me, I like the idea of VR. I think, like when you're 5 years old or you're 10 years old trying to think of like what games will be 20 years in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone always imagined that kind of thing. Like you're in a room and it's kind of like the holodeck in Star Trek, that you get to be in this like semi-realistic simulation.
Oh yeah, we all wanted that.
Yeah, and I think that everyone wishes for that. And I could say that I always thought that this was kind of something that could happen. And obviously, since we have a first type of thing that's here, to me it just strikes me as something that isn't quite there yet. Is kind of the feeling that I get. I feel like that we put this weird screen on my face to kind of get almost it feels kind of gimmicky, almost like the Wii to me, at least right now. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that I don't think it's going to be something great in the future. It just I don't know if I'd necessarily buy, from what I've seen, that it's going to be something that everyone must have, or that's the gaming's future.
I feel like it's more or less like it's still very much a work in progress. The Oculus Rift and the Vive are most likely going to be a first product of a line of virtual reality.
Yeah, that's true.
And given that, I think that it is natural to see its flaws in these first designs.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of in that, like, I mean, given there was a lot of time between these products, but, like, the Atari, Dreamcast, PlayStation, well, that was much later, but PlayStation and N64, well, even before that, obviously, there's the NES and the SNES, like, that, where there's just so many different types of console, although the last three were all Nintendo, I know, but, just these wide variety of consoles you could choose, and then they start to kind of converge into a few that kind of make it out of
into
that.
the
major players,
the Xbox, the PlayStation, the Nintendo, like at least for consoles, those the kind of the big three.
And I think that's the part of the VR that could be. I mean, I think that you're right that this is kind of like the first iteration of this type of technology. And if you look back at the original Ataris, playing Pong at home,
it was revolutionary.
It was revolutionary for the time, but we look at it now and say, was it really?
Gosh, that sucked.
Yeah, that sucked. It wasn't very good, and it didn't look good. And then you compare that to 20 years later.
I feel like we as just nature intends, kind of collectively underestimate our own advancements in these sorts of things.
Well, yeah, like if you even look at VR since 3 years ago. I mean,
when Oculus first was kind of announced,
you were like, man, this looks amazing. And now you look at it, you're like, man, that's not that great. And then, just today I was watching a video where there's a guy sword fighting in a game using his left hand to hold a shield and right hand to hold the sword. And he's like parrying blows with his, with the sword, just kind of like swinging around like he would an actual sword. Completely naturally. It's not like he's like struggling to figure it out. He's just moving his body like you would expect to move in that situation, and it's working. I mean, it's amazing technology.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of pluses, and I think that could add an extra element of immersion to games that we don't have today. It's just sometimes it feels kind of like what the Wii was with Skyward Sword, where I feel like I'm flailing my arm around like an idiot, just with the kind of gimmicky gameplay style that worked. It worked fine. Skyward Sword was fine, but I never felt like that really brought me any closer to in gaming than if I just had my GameCube controller playing the game.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, and I could see a lot of that coming from the fact that we still haven't quite figured. I mean, we've got peripherals, but we haven't quite figured out the movement part of the game yet.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I mean, I've seen a lot of things where it's basically like a treadmill that you stand on and you can run in place, which is a lot. And from people who've used it, I've heard it really helps. Like other than there's a little bit of a disconnect because you have these weird like felt things on your feet, and it gets a little weird.
You're walking on a sloped surface, which is kind of weird.
It's a little strange,
and
but
you've got to like drag your feet, kind of.
In order for it to register. And things like that, they'll get better over time.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt.
Once that's in there, like that will be huge because then you can be walking around in the game, moving in the game, and all these different things.
I want to be at a point where I can walk through Whiterun totally unabated in Skyrim.
Yeah, just like walk through, just
walk through, get harassed by Nazim, and proceed to poison him with my 100 pickpocketing.
Say hello to Isolde and just keep walking through and just like buy a cheese roll for no reason, or just a sweet roll and buy some cheese Just kind of keep walking through your day, just be like, oh, this is delicious. Yes.
Add to my cheese wheel collection.
Yeah. It's like
I buy the cheese wheels from every region in Skyrim, every city, and I have my collection.
10,000 strong. I'm planning to go to High Hrothgar to release them soon.
Oh God! Please tell me you're not one of those people that just collects like every single one.
Crash my
and just shoots it off the top of the throne of the world.
Crash my Xbox.
But I mean, I think that I think you're right, Zach, that the peripherals are the side of it that are kind of in the movement, and how we interact in the games is the issue. I mean, I think that just, the actual just having a helmet on and looking around is kind of cool how they do that. And to me, the kind of games that work best in VR, at least right now, are like dry racing games, space flight games, or like War Thunder, where you're in a cockpit, where you don't have that movement disconnect, where you have, you have a throttle, you have a joystick, where you can actually have the similar experiences in that, where if you're having like for a sword fighting game, I'm not really holding a sword, I'm not really holding a shield, and you can obviously tell that there is a little bit, and you're not actually moving yourself.
I kind of made a judgment call on that kind of to one of my friends. We were kind of chatting, and we were talking about VR and how much immersion may come out of it if you are left with just two, half-pound ones to kind of like
flail
around. And I was like, what would it be like if they made kind of a fitness thing out of this? Like if someone was able to lift a large weapon, like maybe make it like 10 pounds. And then
so you're saying adding peripheral like they did with the Wii when they did like the tennis rackets and stuff like that you would attach to it,
except not comically short.
I mean, of a similar idea.
A similar
an attachment.
But I mean, if you were in somewhere that was like super safe, because obviously
that's true. You swing it and hit your TV.
Swinging around 10-pound,
swinging around a baseball bat and smoking people in the side of the head.
Yeah, regardless of how much immersion you have, it would cause some damage unless there was safety factors put in there. But I mean, it would add immersiveness. Plus, it may be an opportunity for maybe to add a bit of fitness.
Yeah, that's true, because that is kind of
an aspect.
Always people have that issue with gaming in general, is that you guys are just sitting at your computer playing games all the time.
Well,
which is what they tried to do with the Wii.
Yeah, it would be one less thing that my parents would yell at me for.
Right. Well, could you imagine playing like Dark Souls or something?
Oh,
in full, let's assume that we've gotten to a point in VR where you get full movement, and like we're talking like Sword Art Online style of like you are in that, right?
Right.
Like think of how much like you could actually be proud of taking out the bosses in that game, because that means you physically ran, dodged. You slashed, you did everything to take out that Taurus demon. Like you deserved it.
They could make kind of a
shocking system,
hypothetical, like a suit where it would put movement restrictions on the suit,
like you're wearing armor.
Yeah.
So a form of haptic feedback where you've got kind of not haptic feedback, but you've got a resistive movement.
Yeah, like hydraulics kind of maybe.
That provide the resistance.
They provide the resistance depending on the weight of the thing.
Well, they've got vests now that have, I guess they're effectively like kind of like air sacs in them that inflate to. Usually they use them for like when you're playing an FPS, and when you get hit, they rapidly inflate, so it feels like you get a quick like hit to your chest. Yeah. So theoretically, you could use the same thing.
Yeah.
And then just have it that it kind of swells a little bit in your like in the joint, so that it's harder to move.
So you can't like fully collapse your elbows and stuff.
Yeah, so it's harder to move around in it. So like if you're wearing really heavy armor, you are gonna have a hard time kind of moving around. Not because it's like physically wearing armor or physically heavy, and it's not dangerous. It's just like it's a little.
Yeah, it's not like it's wrecking your back or something.
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt you. It's just a little more
restricting your movement.
Well,
I mean, if I in my virtual reality state just want to put on Havel's armor and swing around one-handed a dragon tooth from Dark Souls, I'm going to, if I'm in virtual reality, I would feel a bit less accomplished if I didn't actually feel some sort of
weight or resistance
against.
Yeah, and it might be one of those things where it's going to be like I mean, let's think about it. Like video games. You know, it kind of started with like people had them in the home,
Yeah.
but it was mainly
arcades.
like an arcade. You went out and did something. You went somewhere to play these games. It might be another wave of that where you've got a place like a big warehouse somewhere that you go and they have individual rooms, and the deal is like, you know, on the walls they have different swords of different weights and different things like that, and it will tell you like, oh, you want to switch to your thing. Quick pauses the game. You go pick out your
arena
warhammer.
fight.
Yeah, you pick out your hammer and you're in a room, right? So then you're not going to hurt anyone. Yeah, you might break the thing, but they can design them so you don't break the weapons. But, you know, you're not going to hurt anyone, and then you have the weapon. So each peripheral is modeled, you know. And yeah, it may seem kind of gimmicky, but like it's still a start, you know. And then as they get better with these things,
virtual reality mountain blade land fights.
Well, like how
where
awesome
everyone else is.
So basically LARPing, but
in virtual reality.
Yeah.
Well, like how
I guess that would defeat the purpose of LARPing, but
yeah.
or make it awesome, even more awesome. Like,
oh yeah, I guess
well,
so.
think about it though. Like, okay, so you know, if you have a warehouse, right, and you design it so that you can't fall off stuff,
Right.
you know,
You're not going to bump your
you're
head.
not going to bump your
can't
head,
get
make it
hurt.
really safe, right?
Yeah.
Because with VR, you don't have to worry about it looking like it's supposed to. You
Right.
can have that thing padded up like you have an infant in the house, and it'll be perfectly fine because you'll
Baby-proof
see
that.
everything, right?
Yeah, because your visual peripheries aren't being affected.
I mean, you could
Right.
design it where you have that setup, and then imagine you're playing like Call of Duty Zombies, right?
Right.
How awesome would that be? You have that like the very first one that ever, you know, Call of Duty World at War
Yeah.
Zombies, right? So you have that
A physical room.
a physical room modeled like that,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to look like anything, so it'd be relatively cheap.
But then you
know?
can't leave the
Yeah,
area.
so then
And-
you're
and-
stuck in the boundaries,
Yeah.
and then you can actually, you know, aim your gun,
Out
fire
the
at zombies,
windows.
run up the stairs, which you could just have a ramp so people don't trip on
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So just have a ramp, you know, and you're running up the stairs and firing at zombies and running away. And then again, when you start to get attacked by zombies, to model, you know, because they stop you in the game, right? They keep
Yeah.
you from moving. We have the air pressure suit where it like restricts your joint movements. So you're like can't move
You
through
can't
them very
move through
quickly.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if
So
you
I'll-
conjoined all these things, I'd go to that. I would.
I would
Dude, even if it was like $50 for like a couple hours of playing, I would.
I would
be
spend
like,
my
yeah,
time
let's
there.
do it.
Yeah.
See, to me, that kind of brings up the point to me of where I'm more interested. I'm more interested in the augmented reality than the virtual reality. Because if we use that same, you know, analogy, or the thing that you're going to go to a place to do this, what if you had like, you know, a place you went to and you had these glasses on that weren't nearly, you're not actually looking at a fake screen.
Right.
You're looking at, it takes your environment and what your weapon you're holding and model it as something different than what you're actually holding.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like it in a warehouse setting, make all the props to make all the props and ramps to look like the
the zombies map.
Yeah, I mean that's the
zombies
benefit
map.
of having virtual reality goggles on, is because you don't see what's actually there. You see what's in the game environment. So because of that, you can make it look like whatever you want. Like it could just be plywood with a whole bunch of like pads on it. That won't matter.
Yeah.
And you know, it'll be safe. It'll be cheap because you don't have to spend all the time making it look like the actual environment.
Yeah,
and you just play in the place.
Yeah, and I guess I was thinking that augmented reality would work just the same, except it wouldn't. You wouldn't need to render at least the, you know, it's using your physical environment.
You would just need the physical environment to boot.
To be close.
Yeah.
To be close to what it actually looks like, and then it could, you know, model around a pillar that makes it look like a stone pillar instead of just a, you know, a wood pillar with the foam around it.
Concrete and rebar.
And not that they couldn't fix these things, but a lot of times what happens is a problem with augmented reality is there's some latency between
Exactly.
it and edge detection and things like that. It's a really complicated thing, so oftentimes you'll have, like, you know, say there's somebody hiding behind a wall. If you move a little bit to the right, you kind of see them kind of stuttering or kind of like trying to catch up with it.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have in VR.
That's true. That's a good point. I mean, there is that technical aspects of it that make it challenging, but
Yeah. I mean, VR has kind of a little bit of that. It's why virtual reality right now has to be kind of slow reactions.
that's true because
some sort of things, but they're really working on it.
And to me, I think the motion blur of when you turn your head really quickly is part that I think would get me. I get motion sickness very easily.
Yeah.
And I have never tried VR, so I don't know exactly. Maybe if I tried it, I would be more of a believer on it. But I feel like that kind of, because anytime I get anything that's kind of a peripheral, like 3D glasses, any type of thing where you're in something where I have to do a lot of quick movements that aren't natural to me, especially in a game where if the peripherals aren't very realistic and the blurs are really strange, I get dizzy, I get sick.
Well, the main thing that I've heard that causes people to have those motion sickness reactions is the fact that you're falling or you're flying or you're moving in any way, shape, and form, but not actually doing that. Your body's not actually doing it. So I think having that system where you're
Physically
actually
moving.
running around would theoretically should negate that.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not familiar with the actual like the medical side of that and how that works.
Or the
But
technology.
theoretically, yeah, it
Theoretically,
should do that.
Really.
I would think it would help at minimum.
Yeah, definitely.
But so I mean, kind of with like new technologies and stuff, I think that Nintendo, just announcing that the NX is coming out next March is going to be.
That's such a terrible name.
Well, I don't know if that's going to be the actual name. We don't know that yet.
Fair point.
Because and they said that there's going to be nothing about it at E3.
Interesting.
So
that's a bold move
So but and they delayed Zelda until next fall.
for the NX.
Yep.
Bold move.
And so the only thing that they're going to have at E3 is going to be their Zelda demo.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's the only thing they're going to have, which probably says that they're pretty confident that it's going to be a good demo. Because if that's all you're doing and it's bad, ooh, good luck, Nintendo. Because I mean, it was Star Fox released this week or last week, I think, and it didn't get that much press as much as I think that a game like that should get for Nintendo with a lot of an IP that they...
Yeah, people's views on that were really polarized. They either loved it or hated it. I mean, obviously the people who are fans of the series like me, they loved it. Like everything I've seen of it, I really want to play it. I think it looks fantastic. I would love to go play that. And although Tom disagrees, I like the Chicken Walker. The Chicken Walker looks cool, but Tom doesn't like the Chicken Walker. Did you see stuff on
Star Fox, Kevin?
No, I didn't. But I'm thinking of the Star Wars Chicken Walker. What is
so
this
basically your R-wing flips around and your wings turn into feet,
and you kind of chicken
and
walks
you
around.
And then you fire forward.
That seems kind of gimmicky.
It looks hilarious, but I like it because it's kind of cool to have a land vehicle like that. I mean, I realize there is the Landmaster, but
I guess if they don't want me to take it seriously, then
I mean,
but
Star Fox has never been like super. It's been relatively serious.
They kind of
try, but
but at the same time, when you make something look or if you try something bold or make something look at any sort of context somewhat ridiculous, you've got to be either
all in
or backing out of that as soon as possible.
Fair enough.
And if the Chicken Walker is ridiculous and they try and make it
then the game should be ridiculous.
This cool, crazy thing, then I mean, I hated Phantom Menace because George Lucas took Jar Jar way too seriously. Jar Jar was meant to be ridiculous. George Lucas didn't want him to be ridiculous.
He wanted to be a major plot point.
He wanted him to be a major plot point. And the fact that he didn't take him in this ridiculous tone made him all the more...
jarring.
Oh. Terrible.
You will get nothing more than a dignified...
Not even
dignified. Undignified. How dare you, sir? Oh, dear.
I could have said jar-jarring.
I scoff in your general direction.
But I mean, for like I just thought that Star Fox releasing, usually Nintendo releases get a lot of publicity, get a lot of love. Like everyone always wants to see the next Mario game, wants to see the next Kirby game, wants to see the next Zelda game.
As much of a fan of Mario as much of a fan of Mario as I am, like they're running out of stuff eventually.
Direction.
Well, it's kind of like the thing that Nintendo's riding on right now is Zelda, Mario, Kirby, Star Fox, and that's really
Metroid
and Metroid. But they barely done any Metroid. Federation Force.
Oh,
come on! I mean that's all that they've got. Ooh. I mean they're really riding, and I mean they have their exceptions like Xenoblade and Bayonetta. And things like that they have a couple exceptions. But, I mean...
it's just one of those things you do what works.
You can't ride on those.
No.
Well, you do what works. People keep buying them. They're popular. And...
Mario and Sonic go to the Olympics.
We won't talk about that. But
please don't mention that ever again.
Please don't mention that. It's understandable why they do that. I mean, every company does.
Yeah, EA does it, and Call of Duty Activision 18, does it.
Call of Duty 18, semi-modern Infinite Warfare the second.
Well, it is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare now.
I know. It's like, oh, Jesus.
Halo 5 wasn't exactly good.
I liked Halo 5.
So if they're doing like Call of Duty Modern Warfare and like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, are they going to have Call of Duty Undefined Warfare?
Divide by Zero Warfare?
Undefined warfare.
It's
Oh,
it's the only other route.
I mean, it's
Integral warfare.
It's kind of like I mean, if you look at the Call of Duty sales numbers, they've been going down steadily since Modern Warfare 2. And I mean, it's just like even though those games are still, you know, decent quality games, it's not like they're bad games. They're just a lot of the same.
Well, it's one of those like they're perfectly okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that perfectly okay will get you money. But you're gonna keep losing out every single time.
And every time it's gonna keep dropping. I mean, Nintendo.
I mean, I guess I'm kind of saddened to say this, but Mario kind of underwent that.
It's already going through.
Yeah,
that.
I
mean, it was awesome. Like, it was a groundbreaking thing. It was
Mario Bros. 3 was great. 2 was great. And 64
Mario Brothers,
was great.
Mario
Sunshine.
Brothers 1, Super Mario
Sunshine.
Brothers 1, or Super Mario Bros. Was the first game I have ever gotten.
Mm-hmm.
I had a ball with that. I got grounded for 6 months because, and when this is in fact when I was 6 years old, I got grounded for 6 months because I was addicted to that game. As soon as I got it back, I played it for a day. I mean, it was so good,
And it's so unique.
And Mario Party, awesome.
How many times have we all? I mean, I'm sure all of us in our youth played Mario Party like crazy and hated our families since forever.
Well, Mario Party is how you lose friends.
It is, and family members too.
Oh yeah, definitely. But at the same time, when you start repeating it, it slowly.
Mario Party 12.
Yeah. No. I mean,
you mean Mario Party like 12, where they might as like the next Mario Party is literally you're gonna open the box. There's not gonna be a game disc in there. There's just gonna be a D20, and it's just gonna have a sheet that says divide the 20 by however many people are playing, and if it rolls that number, you win. End of game. And there's just gonna be like Bowser on it, and that'll be the only thing that makes it.
Yeah,
because that's effectively what it is at this point. It's like it's complete random chance.
Yeah. And I mean,
There's
obviously,
no
Mario Party always has some chance.
Oh yeah, there's always been, but it's just been getting steadily more.
If you win all the mini games, you have a pretty good chance of winning.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I guess
and sometimes like the games kind of roll in your favor, and you get the ones that you're good at. Like for me, I'm terrible at the button mashing ones. I can never beat my brother at it. He always beats me. And so every time those come up, I'm like, well.
So you're saying your brother's really good at pushing your buttons?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, and you made my comment in that one?
I didn't say it was good.
Hey, I can't decide what I like.
But I think with Nintendo, I think they're riding so much on their old IPs, and they need Zelda to be a big hit for this next console. They need that to be the selling point of this console. And if it doesn't sell this console, or if it does and it's not great,
Wii U.
then they're gonna struggle.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And they're gonna suffer. And I think, and look at how many games they've released as first party games on their console. I mean, we've got one Mario. Oh, I mean, they probably have a couple of like little offshoot Mario, but we got the Mario 3D World, or I don't know, 3D something that they called it. And they have that. They have the Star Fox game. They have Xenoblade Chronicles X. They have Bayonetta 2. Splatoon is kind of their new attempt at a new IP.
It's pretty fun.
It was fine, but it was. I'm guessing it didn't.
You're squids and also kids.
But if you look at their console sales, if you look at their console sales numbers,
squids.
Squids.
They started off selling their consoles. Like Nintendo, the NES was super successful, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And then the Super Nintendo was a little less so in terms of sales.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Super Nintendo more, but in terms of sales, it didn't do as well. Then Nintendo 64 less, GameCube less than that. And then the Wii had a huge jump. That was their best-selling console.
Well, it was a new technology they were.
And it was unique, and they got grandmas to buy it. And that's the big thing for the Wii. But then the Wii U followed the same trend as it has a very linear decline over the past couple decades.
Well, the thing is, when they released the Wii U, when I heard about the Wii U, my friend Preston was talking about it. He's like, "Oh, I just pre-ordered the Wii U." I'm like, "Oh, is it like an expansion thing? Is it like another like?" I'm like, "No, it's a new console."
Whole new console.
I was like, "What?"
And you're
why is it a Wii U? What?
Yeah. And you're a gamer, and you you didn't quite understand it. You know what I mean?
Like I owned a Wii, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
And I consider myself a pretty good gamer. And when I first heard it, I'm like, Wii U? What is that? I don't know what it is. And so can you imagine a grandma going into the store and say, "Get the new Wii"? What's the new Wii? Or the new 3DS? What the hell is the new 3DS? Never put the word new in anything.
Well, yeah, because it's like next year it's like, well, this is the new 3DS. Like, it gets, like, why? Why would you say that? It's like, oh, it's the modern one. What happens when you make a new one? It's no longer the modern one.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's also misleading.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that type of play on words that kind of I don't know.
I hope Nintendo does well with this new console, but I hope that they try some new things and because I think there's only so much longer they can continue to ride on these IPs. Because if they keep doing it, there's only so many new ideas you can come up with them, and so hopefully that they can figure it out. And because I love Nintendo games, their software's great, but I have a bad feeling that they're
downhill.
They're downhill, and we can see the end approaching for them since I think their profits went down like 60% last year.
Ooh. Oh man, that hurts.
Yeah.
What were
did you know Sony? I think I saw it today that said that Sony has made more from the PlayStation Network online sales than Nintendo did all of last year. Just online sales.
Well, that's the thing though, is that online market. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, that's a lot of the reason why a lot of these free to plays are becoming so frequent and popular, and just like there's so many of them now.
Yeah.
Is it's a wonderful business model.
Oh yeah.
Because if you get people to buy your game at $60 a pop, right? So you get $60 per person. Say a few thousand people, a few 100,000 people buy it. That's a lot of money, but it's nowhere near as much money as that same 100,000 people paying you $1 every couple weeks for the next 2 years
or more.
Or more. Yeah. I mean, it's not a super new thing. I mean, WoW has had, they're subscription based, but they've had vanity items you can buy. I mean, it's not a new thing, but it's becoming way more frequent. I mean, like I play War Thunder all the time, and that's a topic for another discussion of, abusive game relationships. It's a, yeah. Anywho, so, but that, I mean, I think the worst case of this is recently they released decorations you can put on your tank, right? And these are things like helmets, gas cans, stop signs for reasons, I guess.
So you just put them on your tank just for fun,
right? Yeah. But they also sell bushes, like bushes,
camouflage.
Yeah, like that you can use as camouflage and work in the game as camouflage.
Oh, jeez.
And these bushes are $6. It is $6 for a virtual bush to put on your tank.
And people buy into it.
And people have bought them like hotcakes.
And you know how much more money they're going to make on selling that type of material?
Oh yeah, that's where they're not even going to try and. I mean, it's a free to play game, so that's where they make pretty much all the money. That and premium subscriptions, of course.
But Nintendo is still trying to go off the old model of just buy this game once, you get it, and they kind of dabbled a little bit in that with like Splatoon with DLC packs and stuff like that for Fire Emblem. And for Monster Hunter and things like that, they've kind of dabbled in that that DLC package things. But really, they're trying to do that. And so I don't know. I feel like they're really going to start. I mean, if this NX isn't a huge, great thing for them, I think they're going to really drop down. But I mean, with the new console, I mean, now we have the PlayStation 4.5 coming out or whatever. Neo, stupid.
God, is it really called that?
Oh, well, at least that's the code name for it right now.
Please
Matrix reference.
Mm-hmm. Well, Neo just means new.
I know, but Neo means lay chosen one.
And like we said with the new 3DS, don't ever put a name new in your console's name. But like, I'm more of a console gamer than I know Zach's more of a PC guy.
Yeah, no, I play exclusively PC at this point. I mean, I've owned consoles, and I used to be almost exclusively console. I've had pretty much every Nintendo system ever made, and I had an Xbox 360.
Yes.
Had a PS3, and I actually had a PlayStation for a little while.
A PlayStation 1?
Yep, PlayStation 1.
Ooh, nice.
Ever since the Xbox 360, I've been playing on PC because I bought myself a nice gaming tower and been using that ever since.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like when you get something that looks nicer. Why would you play it on the thing that doesn't?
When you buy a Mustang, why would you ever drive a Pinto?
Yeah,
it's like you got the Mustang. Why?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, with that, it kind of makes me upset as a console gamer. I kind of would curious of your perspective as somebody who's not necessarily in the end, who doesn't play consoles that much, what you think of the idea of it. But to me, when as a console person who bought a PlayStation 4, 2 years ago, I kind of see it, and it kind of makes me upset because I buy a console in the thought, as it has been for the past 2 decades, that you buy a console once, and it goes on for 6 or 7 years, and then you get a new one. That makes sense, and that's a $400 purchase. That's a lot of money, and obviously not as much as a computer. But I can't. But the thought of me getting 2 years out of my console and having to buy this newer one, even if it can play the same games, like everyone's like, well, it can play the same games at lower resolution. I'm like, what I'm worried about is we get like a Witcher 3. When it released on PlayStation 4, it had a crappy frame rate. Just to be honest, it had it would dip down to 21 all the time.
Ooh.
So it's like borderline unplayable.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, this shouldn't be happening for a modern game. But let's say that situation happens where the Neo's version doesn't have that issue, but my version has stuttering issues. That's That's huge.
That's
it's one thing.
That's unfair.
That's unfair.
That's unfair because they're selecting their new product to be treated.
They're basically using it to sell you the new product. Be like, boy, that's really unfortunate. You know what wouldn't be unfortunate? If you were to buy the new Neo, then you wouldn't worry about these things. Yeah.
And that kind of makes me upset because they're like, oh, well, it'll just be a higher frame rate or a higher resolution. I'm like,
I didn't buy it to buy the PlayStation Neo. I bought it to play Witcher 3.
Yeah, I mean, I bought my computer for around $1,200, $1,300 4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
My computer can still run Rainbow Six Siege on Ultra. Like, it's still working just fine, and that's 60 FPS on Ultra, mind you.
But yeah, and that's kind of like the thing with consoles. I mean, like if you look at like the beginning of console generations towards the end of them, they figure out how to do it better.
Yeah.
You know, because if you look at the Resistance on PlayStation 3, it's ugly. It's horrible looking. It looks like a PlayStation 2 game.
I went back to play Resistance. Oh my god.
It looks like a PlayStation 2 game.
I know, right?
And then I love when you're back then you're like, oh, this is the most beautiful next generation thing.
Oh yeah, I remember playing Halo for the first time on the Xbox, and it was like, oh my god, this is so realistic. And you look at it today, you're like, is that a face? What is that? I think there's two polygons. I'm not sure.
Is he moving his mouth?
It's like going back and playing GoldenEye. You're like, oh my god.
Oh.
But
what are these? Are these people?
You know, it saddens me that it happens like that because I loved GoldenEye.
As we all did.
I loved Nightfire.
Perfect
for
Dark.
PlayStation 2, Perfect Dark. I loved Ace Combat.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good one.
Well, and like you go back to that kind of stuff and you say like, well, I mean, towards the end of the console generation, things look so much different. Last of Us compared to Resistance is ridiculous. Those are the same console, the same hardware. How is that possible? It's because the developers are required to have to just eke out that little bit more power. But they've been using the same console forever, so they know how the system works.
Yeah, they know how to goad it out of the console.
But if you continually try to give them new technology, I think they're gonna just eventually,
just say,
well, we're just gonna go to the new one every time, and then I'm gonna get stuck with the inferior version that doesn't run well, that looks crappy. And they're like, well, if you could just ignore that and just say, and don't worry about having the. I was like, I'm not worried about having worse resolution. I'm worried about having worse gameplay.
Right.
And just remarkably uglier.
It becomes not exactly a worthwhile experience once you find out that they had everything in their power to change that, but didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not one of the people that's just gonna go like, oh, console peasant, because that's dumb. Whatever.
Right.
It's the only thing I will say to that effect is that at
PC
least on
is
computer,
better.
I hear these issues, and then normally we don't have these problems. Now, that is not the case because, of course, we all remember Watch Dogs, that whole debacle where they purposefully, downgraded the graphics on PC to make consoles look just as good or better.
Yeah.
And then everyone found out about it, and of course, because the internet quickly modded it back to normal, and then we were like, consoles.
But see, and that's the thing. Like, I know PCs look better in general, and I'm not going to be a person who's going to say, oh,
I mean, you got to pay more. So that's the thing that consoles have, though, is that they're cheaper for basically the same.
And a long time. They last a long time.
There are benefits to consoles.
Like the Xbox 360 lasted 8 years.
You know, my 360 got the red ring of death. I ended up taking it apart, voiding the warranty, and fixing it, putting it back together. It hasn't worn out on me, and I still play it throughout the day.
And I mean, like console versus PC in that respect is a lot like PC versus Mac.
Yeah.
It's console is like buying a Mac because it works great, but you're not really meant to fix it. You're not meant to mess around with it. It's you buy it and use it. It's ready.
It's
to
a black
go.
box.
Yeah, it's a black box. You just buy it. You use
it works. You put the game in. It works. You don't have to do anything.
PC on the other hand is you build it, you put it together, you troubleshoot it. I mean, and whatever one you like, that's fine. But there definitely is that kind of distinction between the two.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I think my next choice after my Xbox 360 loses its luster. I think I'm going to go straight towards PC.
Nice.
I mean,
if they go with this PlayStation 4.5, I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cheaper, really, just to buy that. Because, like I said, my computer, I bought it 4.5 years ago. It's still running well.
But see, if a way that I could see upgrading consoles that would work is if you buy a little pack that you install on it, as like a
Right.
$60, $70 thing. Like it's just like on the
It's
PC.
like the expansion pack for the N64.
But see, I didn't mind. I don't mind that as
I'm
much.
sorry, you can't play Majora's Mask. You need the expansion pack. Damn it.
No.
But it's
And
not
then my parents were like, just kidding, got you the expansion pack. I'm like, yeah.
But then that's kind of the thing where like, but that's not as bad because like, let's say your graphics card isn't good anymore on a PC. A lot of times you can just buy a new one and just install it on your PC. You don't have to spend $1,500 again.
Yeah.
You know, but with console, if I have to spend $400 again, that's the part that I get frustrated. If it's $60,
Yeah.
$70 for an expansion pack, I'm not as
that's
concerned with
fine.
it. I'm not
Yeah.
as concerned with it.
Yeah.
But it's just the repetitiveness of buying new consoles.
It just feels bogus.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of talk. Kind of moving on. There's been a lot of talk about the new MOBAs coming out. So Overwatch and Battleborn. So have you guys played too much of that?
I mean, I played the Battleborn beta and I despised it.
Really?
I despised it. I hated everything about it. I hate, but see, I'll just qualify myself with this. I can't stand MOBAs in general. I just can't. I don't know why I hate them so much. I just think that I'm not a very competitive person I don't like competitive gaming very much in general. The few exceptions I get are like Halo. I like competitive multiplayer in Halo, but I don't know. There's something where you have to invest so much time to be good at something compared to everyone else.
You played the single player too, right?
Yeah, I played the single player too, and like in Battleborn, like, and that's like, but see, the problem is most of my friends play on PC,
Oh yeah.
so I'm stuck
Understandable.
playing on console by myself, and that
Yeah.
kind of game just isn't the same by yourself.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing with like playing Dota. Like I don't like playing Dota by myself. I find it kind of boring.
Or Rainbow Six Siege.
Or Rainbow. Oh man, I haven't played Rainbow Six Siege in like 4 months because my friend group has basically stopped playing it. So if I don't have anyone to play with, especially that game where teamwork is
Crucial.
literally essential, yes.
Or you get your face kicked.
Oh,
in.
you'll die instantly. Yeah, you can't play it. It's impossible. And yeah, like I was saying about Dota, yeah, like I want to play that as a group. I want to play it with friends because it's the social aspect, and that's what makes MOBAs popular. Is the social aspect, and when you don't have that, it's not very much fun anymore.
And I'm not very good. That's also that doesn't help either at those. Like I'm much more of a single player. I mean, like I play games all the time, so I'm pretty good at most of them. It's just I don't know why for those games I'm just not good at them. I don't know why.
I mean, I personally thought Battleborn was really, really cool. I mean, I'm a big fan of Gearbox, and the fact it's basically the same Borderlands style humor is fantastic. I mean, the trash compactors that think they're gods, that are just like, be reborn as a toaster. Like, it's freaking hilarious.
And I can appreciate that part of it. You know, that it's got good humor, and maybe that's just the fact that I couldn't get into it because but see, Borderlands I enjoyed so much. I enjoyed Borderlands. I played all of Borderlands by myself. I never played with nobody.
Same
and
here.
I enjoyed all of Borderlands. So I mean, and that's kind of the weird thing.
I mean, it's
with
just the PvP aspect you don't enjoy.
But even that, the story part of Battleborn didn't grab me. The gameplay didn't grab me.
Yeah,
like it did in
I mean, I'll give you
Borderlands.
that. The story part of Battleborn really isn't that strong. I mean, it has a decent story. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's not as I don't know striking, I guess.
And not only that, but I think the gameplay in Borderlands suited itself to be either multiplayer
Right.
or by yourself because you could be yourself and just run around guns blazing and blow people to smithereens.
And then just by chance, one of your friends joins.
And then it's
you're
fun.
just like, oh hey, all right.
We just
whatever."
kill the stuff are just tougher now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a bit tougher, but you still like it's seamless joining.
But see, like with Battleborn, they rely so heavily off of class skills and so heavily off of that cooperative play.
Yeah.
That just like Rainbow Six Siege, that if you don't have that companion to go with you in it, then I just don't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a big aspect of it, and I don't know, it's when you don't have that team to work with, it definitely makes it really difficult because then you're kind of just sitting there trying to defend yourself, push the offensive, heal yourself, and it doesn't work well. And on the other side of this, I mean, you also have to realize that like that's kind of what the games are designed for, really. Is like it's designed for that whole team aspect.
And maybe that's why I don't like them very much.
Could
Maybe
be.
because I'm just not a person who plays competitive a lot. And if there are games that I do play competitively, most people don't play with me. Because like in Halo, I can just go in there by myself and kick butt because I'm pretty good at Halo.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Oh, you want to see? Want to see?
That'll be a later video. But the one thing I will say against Battleborn is, God help you if you're a melee character. Oh my God, there is so much going on the screen, and it is such color vomit in a good way. Like, the game looks really good and it's fun, but holy shit, like, you get into the melee and then there's just everything's going on. There's
just
explosions, colors everywhere, swiping everywhere. Most times you just run in and start swinging and hope something dies, and that thing that dies isn't you. That's really, you just start throwing up all your powers, use your ult, and just kind of hope for the best. Whereas it's a lot easier to be ranged, so take that as you will.
And that kind of goes with the kind of Overwatch style game, because I mean, I know that they're still similarly MOBAs. They all call them all MOBAs, even though I think that Overwatch and Battleborn are a little different.
Yeah,
like a Dota, than like a Dota or League of Legends or Heroes of the Storm, because those are kind of like, you have to send your minions at the other person's base and.
I look at Battleborn as very much similar to like a first-person Dota or League of Legends, whereas Overwatch is more of like Team Fortress. Like, hero-based Team Fortress is what it feels like.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me too.
Because I mean, you've got like Mei and Mercy, and you've got your healers, like Mercy.
Yeah.
You've got Mei. You've got what's his name, Junkrat. You've got all these different Roadhog. You've got all your characters that have their own individual skills, their own ults. The similar setup for most MOBAs. You have your heroes with their ults and stuff, but you're doing things where it's like capture the zone,
team
push the
match
cart kind of thing. Yeah, team deathmatch, things like that.
Yeah,
capture the flag, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all of the standard, Team Fortress style.
Yeah.
Any standard multiplayer style game modes.
And they both excel at their own things.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, I think in this round, Overwatch is probably going to pull ahead of Battleborn. It's unfortunate because the problem is they're releasing at the same time.
Like 2 weeks from
now. Well, not at the same time, but a little ways apart.
They're the same month.
Close enough
the same month.
They might
close
as well
enough
be.
to where people who really want the other
if they want Overwatch and they only have so
it.
if they only have so much money.
I mean, they're both $60 games. You're going to pick one.
Yeah.
I mean, people buy whatever. People will buy two, but by and large, most people are probably going to pick one and go with it. And then by the time they want to go and get the other one, they may not care about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you guys checked out Smite?
Yeah. I've played Smite quite a bit. I like playing as.
I mean, I feel like as far as MOBAs go, that one's the basically the medium ground between.
Yeah,
between
I like playing as Raw, just using the sunbeam. Just I'm really good at aiming that, so I always hit 3 people and murder all of them because they just run straight into it. And it's a line. Yeah. It's very slow too. I don't know why they don't see that coming.
Yeah, and I like it also because it's third person. You're not first hand running into things. You aren't getting the color vomit if you're a melee character.
Yeah, you're kind of getting spared the what the fuck is going on effect.
Yeah, you're getting spared the kind of riot instinct, crowd is everywhere. I mean, yeah, I feel overall Smite is it's not exactly in the conversation of Bloodborne versus Overwatch, but I mean it's
Bloodborne?
Or sorry, Bloodborne.
I was gonna say, I was like,
I'm like, those are two distinctly different games. One of these is not a MOBA.
No,
you figure it out.
No, on Bloodborne.
the one where you stab a bunch of people with a weird rusted cleaver,
and then switch it around to the sword.
Switch it out to a sword.
No, on
cleaver.
Bloodborne.
But games that are kind of coming out now. You guys saw the Elder Scrolls with their new card game thing.
Okay, I really like.
Please no.
Hearthstone-esque games and Hearthstone in general, I think is a fantastic game. I really like it. I enjoy playing it, but
just keep it out of.
Not even so much of that. It's more of Elder Scrolls. No, stop. Don't.
Please don't sell
I'm okay with franchising, and again, the online, whatever. It wasn't great. It was kind of meh.
ACT to me,
it was a mixed.
It's
review.
just they branding out or franchising out like that is just. I feel like it would
dangerous.
Just hurt them because it's. Yeah. It's starting to dilute what it is, and then because originally it's been these great RPG games that how are you going to have an RPG as a card game like that? I guess I mean, whatever. If they want to do it, it'll probably be fine. It's just it seems like a weird step for them.
I hope it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't like them taking their resources away from their major IPs. I want an Elder Scrolls 6. I know everyone probably
as soon as possible
wants an Elder Scrolls 6, and I don't want to waste my time with an Elder Scrolls Online or waste their time with a Hearthstone style card game.
I mean,
it just feels like there's more resources being taken from the stuff that they're actually good at making.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're basically falling into that, I'm worried about them falling into the trap. I mean, I'm sure most people have seen Spaceballs, that whole joke with, Spaceballs the movie, Spaceballs the t-shirt, Spaceballs the flamethrower, that whole deal. With the same thing with Elder Scrolls. You got Elder Scrolls Online, normal Elder Scrolls, Elder Scrolls the card game. Like, please don't do that.
Elder Scrolls karting.
Oh God. Elder Scrolls cart, and it's like a horse-drawn cart, and you're just like, it's like, ooh, get the power up so you can use Fusro to knock the opponents over. Ooh, like, oh God.
Elder Scrolls Party.
Gosh.
You just have like, upgrade your cart with a mage, and he's just like firing ice blasts at each other as you're flying along.
It doesn't even shy away from, like, once someone gets hit with the flame blast, they like spin around like Mario Kart. It doesn't even
like
shy
steam
away.
coming off of it and everything.
And then like
it doesn't even shy away.
Like, is that a banana?
Is that
no? That's a Khajiit fruit. Oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh,
Jesus
for God's
Christ!
sake.
It's like
just
and instead of the spinning like question mark blocks, it's just the Skyrim logo spinning in the middle of the
or the Imperial sign.
Yeah, the Imperial signal.
It just kind of comes down to, like, I think we all would agree. Just give us Elder Scrolls 6 for God's sakes.
Just
Yeah.
Just even at worst, just make a Skyrim. Just make a Skyrim.
Skyrim.
Not actually Skyrim. I've heard those rumors. Screw that.
No Skyrim 2.
No Skyrim again the second time.
But
no,
I mean,
don't.
just reskin it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're that strapped for time, then I'm sure they can hire on some master modders from the PC community.
Yeah, I mean, this is the modern age. We have internet modders who have created amazing works. Like, if you've ever browsed any of the like Nexus mod stuff, Nexus mod stuff for like Fallout, there's fully voice acted campaigns you can get. Like,
it's amazing.
Talk to those guys.
Freelance.
Send them some money. I mean, whatever. Freelance it, and you'll get amazing work.
I mean, the PC community, as far as like all of these games go, I mean, it's a brave new world as far as these mods and stuff. And when you said modern age, at first I thought you meant pun intended. Modern age. And
God damn it! Now it's you too.
Well, now that we've all had a term, audience, if you'd like to submit your puns, please put them in the comments below.
Smashing.
Yes. But since we're talking like with the sequels, like we want another Skyrim. What other kind of sequels to games are you really that haven't been around for a while that you're hoping to get another one of?
So we aren't submitting our ideas for a Skyrim sequel?
No.
Damn.
You can submit your idea for a Skyrim sequel if you want.
Valenwood.
Oh, of course.
It would be amazing.
What about the Black Marsh?
Black Marsh would be pretty damn cool. I mean,
how about Elsewhere?
How about
Elsewhere? Yeah.
How about just all of Cyrodiil?
All of
just the entire continent.
Wait a minute. Cyrodiil is the Imperial area.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I always get it.
The
whole country. Tamriel. That's what I was looking for.
Now introducing our biggest map ever. All of Tamriel. Oh my God! It's just it will take you literally 3 days to travel to the other side.
Don't screw me like that because they said something along those lines.
Oh,
for
Jesus!
Fallout 4.
Oh God!
They said something along those lines.
No, did they?
Yeah.
That clearly didn't happen.
They hyped it up.
Clearly did not happen.
I mean, you got to take these things with a grain of salt. If they advertise like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be like all of Tamriel that we've already discovered put into one, and it's gonna be Akavir, and I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
And then, it's like 1/5 scale, and you're like,
well,
it's like you can only visit particular cities in those continents.
It's gonna be like mud crabs everywhere, and I'm just going to throw my.
You go onto the magical Dwemer steamboat, and it takes you to the Black Marsh, and then you come back, and you're like, oh, we're in the hub city, cool.
Oh,
you
great!
Just kind of go to each area.
You can't stray away from.
Yeah,
this
they're
place.
not actually. You have that invisible wall that you can't actually travel past.
But
that would be terrible.
But I think the sequels that I just want Knights of the Republic 3. I don't care about the Old Republic. I don't care. Just give me Knights of the Republic 3 and Star Wars Republic Commando 2. Please and thank you.
Yes.
For the viewers who haven't figured out my namesake yet here on YouTube, Banjo-Kazooie 3. Banjo-Kazooie 3.
Ukulele.
It will never happen, but Banjo-Kazooie 3.
Wait, are you sure? Microsoft owns that IP.
They do, but they also own Conquer, and they tried, and it just they're not making a sequel. I feel like it's just going to be mothballed forever, and they're never actually going to do anything with it. Yes, Yooka-Laylee is coming out, and I will be buying that when it does come out. But until then, I can just hope for a Banjo-Kazooie 3 being announced. The unfortunate thing is I'm not sure if they'd get Grant Kirkhope to come back on as the composer for that. Because that's very much a big part of Banjo-Kazooie was the musical style, and if they don't have that, that's going to be unfortunate.
And I really want them to do something other than damn Nuts and Bolts.
Okay, sir. Nuts and Bolts was fantastic.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So to preface this, the interesting thing is, okay, so I assume you saw the commercial, right, Kevin? The original commercials for the new...
For Nuts and Bolts?
Right? What it was supposed to be before they turned it into what it is now.
I hated it.
But you saw the original commercial.
No, I didn't. Not until after.
Okay.
I still hated it.
Well, okay, so me and Tom actually didn't see the original commercial where it was showing, like Banjo-Kazooie looking into the distance and seeing all these, like, oh, there's some jiggies and, all that, like, making it seem like a real Banjo 3, like an actual...
Discover everything.
Successor, yeah. The collectathon, go out and do all that kind of thing, right?
Walk around.
And then when it came out, it was what we know Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts is as today, as the one where you're building vehicles and stuff. From my perspective, since I never saw that, to me, I was like, oh my god, I get to build all this stuff. This is awesome. But I can totally understand how people were expecting a true Banjo 3 were disappointed.
It was just the way they went about it. I mean, not only was it the trailer, like, I wanted to explore, but then I got shanghaied into building ships and stuff. It wasn't only that.
Ships with laser beams?
Yeah. But it wasn't only that. It was the fact that in their intro, they woke Banjo-Kazooie up and told him, yeah, welcome to the world, but and he's like, oh yeah, guess I'm going exploring again, and the TV or whatever literally said, no, we talked to our bosses, and we decided that the target demographic doesn't really want to explore and do all this nonsense anymore.
They were basically like, fuck you, gamers.
Yeah, they literally...
fuck you, people who wanted a Banjo-style game.
They literally said that.
You start doing all the collectibles, you're like, no, nobody gives a shit about this anymore.
No, they wanted to build some tanks and
they wanted to do something that we didn't even tell them that we were about to do.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a complete, like, other tangent, and I felt kind of betrayed by purchasing.
By itself, as a game, it's a really good game. It's really fun. Yeah. There's a lot to it. It's again, I'm an engineer, so I enjoy.
I didn't like
building
it.
things.
I mean, we all are, but
yeah, we all are engineers.
We're all
just
aerospace.
so you know. I really enjoy that aspect. But yeah, I can totally understand, especially after seeing the video, that people were expecting a Banjo-Kazooie that was like the previous ones, and it wasn't, so people were really upset.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Tom, you've been saying that you didn't enjoy the game. Why didn't you enjoy it then?
I don't know. I just I think first of all, I'm not very creative. It's just not my skill. So
we're engineers.
I know. I'm an engineer and I'm not very creative. This is not a good combination. But the thing about it is like for example, if I play Space Engineers, everyone Zach and other friends are like, I'll make all this cool stuff and designing all this cool stuff. Everything I make is
practical.
Is a box that moves and does everything practically.
And it looks everything.
It looks everything the way it should,
Heavily
but it looks horrible. It doesn't necessarily work the best.
Yeah,
it does work.
I can definitely attest to this. Most times when we've been playing Space Engineers, Tom will be flying around a Borg cube, and I'm over here flying around a giant Pac-Man that eats ships because I've taken the time to model it like that.
Ship mining.
It literally, I made a Pac-Man ship that would attach to an enemy ship and literally bite it in half and then fly away.
And here I am flying.
It's got miners all on it.
It does. That's what.
And here I am flying around in my Borg cube that shoots rockets. And does it work? Yes, it works really well. But it looks horrible. It is not necessarily the most efficient methods. It just works.
You see, when I was playing Space Engineers, I don't really like building just because I'm kind of like you. I'm just uber practical about my things. But I certainly like decommissioning other people's things, and so I
You're that guy on the server. You are the one who is drawing metaphorical dicks on people's ships.
I'm the one who there's a reason why people put those remote turrets inside their ship. I'm the reason why.
Oh, God.
And yeah, no. So I like decommissioning ships. Me and my friends played for about 6 months, and throughout that entire time, I wasn't decommissioning other like actual players' ships. I was decommissioning like the pirates who like fell to the earth. Mm-hmm. But I decommissioned like somewhere around 20 of these heavily packed things without any armor, just the scraper, like the salvager.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing.
The circular saw thing?
Yeah, and then I would
grinder, I guess.
Yeah, I would just like tell them like, "Oh yeah, you guys are clear." And they would all come around, salvage everything, make their artsy fartsy ships, and I would go about my business. I mean,
but that kind of comes back to like that. That's why I didn't like nuts and bolts, because I just don't have that skill.
Yeah.
And everything I do just doesn't. I never can make anything that looks cool. I just never can do that.
So, as we've said, we're all aerospace engineers. I can say without a doubt that I made a 3-stage rocket in Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts.
damn it.
They have this disconnect button that you can connect pieces of your ship to, and I literally had rocket boosters and made it look like a Falcon Heavy, and just like, which isn't a 3-stage rocket, but still, it's just ejected off the side canisters, fuel tanks, and just kind of like
Kerbal
made
Space
this
Program
rocket
style.
Asparagus style.
Yeah, this rocket, and I also made a TIE fighter.
Oh.
Yeah, I totally made a TIE fighter. It was awesome.
You're redeemed.
it's totally awesome.
So like, and that's kind of like where, I mean, most of my sequel wishes really just come down to Star Wars games. I just want Knights of the Republic 3. I really do. I love those games. Zach, plays Knights of the Republic. Everyone in the comments, please tell him to play it.
Please do.
It's so great. It's so great.
I've got both of them. I've got both of them here. If we have an Xbox, I have an Xbox. I'll bring it here. We'll have a whole thing. And then obviously Star Wars Battlefront 3. And no, not the new EA one, a real Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah, that's what my recommendation was going to be.
What, you didn't want Lando Calrissian's co-pilot?
Nien Nunb? Oh, that's who I want as my hero. I want to play as a Star Wars hero.
Anyone else? IG-88, Bosch, the weird Lobo, that guy. You know what I'm talking about. The weird bald dude,
Dengar.
Cyborg.
Dengar, toilet paper head.
Yeah.
Dengar's more interesting than frickin' Nien Nunb.
Nien Nunb.
Oh my gosh. That's
all he did. That's literally all he did.
I've got a story. Me and my friends played a Star Wars saga. It's the
Galaxies?
It's the Pathfinder
adaptation.
Or adaptation. But I played a Celestin named Nien Nunb.
Nien Nunb.
Nien Nunb.
And all I did was just go.
and that's how they communicate.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry for making fun of you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's. How insensitive, guys.
Can we just have another Star Wars Battlefront, please? The real one. I want bots. I want offline multiplayer.
No, don't speak too soon. EA still owns the title.
You don't want to roadkill Vader on your front grille of your speeder?
Oh, I want to do that. I want to do that.
It's so it's hilarious.
What?
You've got, I am Lord Vader. He like walks forward and is just murdering people.
Do you remember the Jedi heroes in Star Wars Battlefront 1? That would be invincible unless you blew them off the cliff of Bespin, and so they fell to their deaths, or you ran them over with a speeder.
Yeah.
God, I remember in Star Wars Battlefront, the first one, the Cloud City, Bespin, the Cloud City, the one where you're fighting in that tiny narrow corridor.
Platform,
and everyone
that's the best
just grenade spam.
Yeah, everyone threw grenades. People were flying out the windows,
and you're hiding behind the pillars, just like.
You see a grenade. You're just like. You're just like, oh shit, what's the kick button? Blown out.
There wasn't a kick button.
There's no kick button.
I know.
Did you play it?
I did. I played it forever.
But I would love to have just those games again. I just want those games back again.
Oh god, yeah.
No,
and
please.
Modders, get on it. Make a new one.
Please.
No. Here's what you do. You reskin Battlefront 1. You reskin Battlefront 2 Space Battles. And you put them in the same type thing.
Battlefront 2 space battles were always really weird because the bombs had gravity in the opposite direction of, like, planets.
Oh, no, they would always go down, regardless if you were upside down or right side up. Which is like, why are they falling?
Modders, you can do that. Because you can do this.
Because it's like we're in the middle of space. There's not a planet or anything.
Sometimes you are.
Sometimes you're near a planet, but there's somewhere you're not anywhere near a planet, and you're above a battleship, and like, yeah, it's a massive thing.
Not that massive.
But not that massive. Yeah. Why the hell are these falling?
And why are your shields right next to the hangar? Who thought that was a good idea? Yeah. Life support right next to the hangar?
Yeah. Sir, what if we're boarded? Put everything in the same place. Why? In case we get attacked, we can quickly access it. Can't they also quickly access it and destroy it? Shut up! Quick, demoted!
Quick, put them all in the same place. But, sir, it's...
do it! Get force choked to death.
Sir, but why? It's... stupider that way.
It's the way we do things. We put giant access ports to our reactors that destroy everything.
It's the same engineering firm that's designed every Death Star, including the new one. Sir, with this new Death Star, we harness the energy of the sun itself. Brilliant. Yes, and the best plan is it's very simple. Only one thermocouple.
Only one?
Wait, what? Whoa, there's only one? Yes, that way we don't have to supply multiple. What if it goes wrong? It won't. But what if it does? Catastrophic failure. The whole thing explodes. We've been here before, haven't we? Remember the first two.
There's no way this will happen.
Yes, but there's no longer a grate. Or, sorry, no, we forgot the grate. Yes, that's right.
Yes, no port anymore.
Yes, no port, yes. Can't they access it on foot?
Well, they could.
But no one will be here on foot.
What if they do?
Sir, enemy sighted on foot, heading towards the thermocouple.
Wait, what's this from?
But and that's what I just want a lot of Star Wars games to come back, and the good kind, not the stupid new Battlefront that's gimmicky as shit.
Well, it was all supposed to be multiplayer, and everyone bought into it, and I felt personally betrayed because like I've been playing that thing for.
It was missing the versus bots mode.
The versus bots was the biggest thing that they're missing. So because I mean, why do people still play Battlefront 1 and 2 today? Well, not 2 because Windows 10 destroyed it.
Yeah. I have it on PS2.
Just so the viewers know, like we're aware it has the co-op survival mode. That's fun, but that's not what we're talking about.
That's fun, but
that's only fun for a little while. I mean, it's not anywhere near as robust as Gears of Wars was.
Yeah, I mean. We're talking about the original Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, the ability to fight campaigns against bots.
And just large-scale battles. Yeah, it felt great to have 64 bots on PC anyway, fighting against each other in the same area and just being able to have that chaotic feeling of being in a Star Wars battle.
Yeah. Hoth on PC. Oh my god.
I'm just sick of like when you play with people sometimes you just get stuck with everything's the best way to do things. Everyone does the same classes. Everyone wants to be the same things. And it always turns into there's a better path where the bots, they just do random things. They do their own things, and it makes the battle just feel a little bit more epic. And even
chaotic.
Even if I go 75-3, I still have a fun time doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You still feel like it's... Like, regardless of difficulty, it still feels like a challenge. Like, it still feels like, holy shit, this person's right next to me. And then, pew, pew, pew. Oh, alright, he didn't hit me. Oh my gosh, another person right behind him.
And then you see a droidie cut, and then you cry.
Yeah. Oh, you cry silently
as you get mowed down.
I don't know about Kevin, but I cry openly. I just bust into tears immediately. It's like
because they could, especially when you're on Bespin platforms, and you're like guarding your post, and you're like, all right, and then it goes, and you're like, yep, I'm dead.
And then like 3 more show up. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
But I just wish that we could get another Star Wars games, but I mean that. Please
get on that, modders of the world,
or EA. Please get your head out of your butts.
No, EA.
We can all dream.
EA, get the hell out of here. Let the people who know what they're doing do this.
Oh dear.
So,
well, we're just about at the hour 10 mark here, so I think we're gonna end it there. But yeah, definitely, there's a lot of interesting things going on right now, and yeah, if you'd like to hear more of this, please like and comment and subscribe, and we'll have more of these on the way.
All right.
See ya.
Yep. See ya.
See you later.
Thanks for listening.